So, I am so happy to be here and feeding back to you what has been coming up for me just recently, the messages from the dragons. The theme this week is all about all the ordeals and the issues and soul interventions and ascension symptoms. So, the dragons are here basically to help you navigate through the ascension symptoms, whatever symptoms that you are experiencing. Now, that's usually to do with finances, relationships, health, things, big things that go on through your life, but also they help you trying to find out the practical magic ways to resolve a lot of those issues. Now, sometimes we just need a little bit of a shift, and this is what the cards are here for. Sometimes we need something massive. We need to do something so big for ourselves that we can't even see what it is that we need to do. And that's where the cards come in as well, because you'll just get the message through and just go, oh, yeah, I can see what I've been doing. I can see I've been keeping that story going on in my head. So this week is very, very important. And the dragons have got a very They've got a very pushy energy to do with this week. It's like, let's just stop taking this nonsense. Let's stop dabbling and let's really say, I know I'm ascending. I know that things are changing. I know I need to have a new perspective, but God damn it, sometimes I really can't see what I'm doing wrong and I just don't know how to change it. So that's what the cards are here for this week. Most sensitive, most sensitives are going through some sort of ordeal. Now, that could be to do with their health, it could be to do with their finances. And it's not a punishment, even though it sounds and it feels really, really harsh. It is your soul, your guides showing you through a soul intervention, this ordeal that you're going through. How can you react to this differently? How can you respond to this differently? Because there is a different way for you to respond. There is a different way for you to operate. One of the books that I've been asked to write is The Owner and the Operator's Guide to Your Human. And I'm realizing over the last few 6 months, I think, they're really showing me how this actually plays out for the human. So we can certainly manifest things and we can create our own reality. But when we're asked to shift how we operate, it takes a lot of courage to do things in a different way. Last week, this is an example I was asked to share with you last week in a client conversation. She said, I've had such a bad cold. It has knocked me sideways. I never get ill. I never have colds. And I don't understand why I've got this. I mean, I know it's a wake-up call. And we said, yeah, okay, so it's a purge. So, but the fact was, when I was speaking to her, I could hear the same stories that she'd been telling before the cold. She'd been saying about her work colleagues, she'd been saying about her car, she'd been saying about her finances, and it was all rather dull, and I could just feel it inside my body. And when she was talking, I was getting nudged by her soul and her guides just to say she doesn't get it. She doesn't get what this cold is about, but she's a channel. She works really well with her soul, but her soul was saying she doesn't get it. She hasn't changed anything. So, like, what was the point of us giving her a cold and her going, yeah, I know I'm purging, without changing what caused, what needed to have the cold come up in the first place, the ascension symptom. So sometimes we think, oh, right, yeah, that's the message. But we go back to doing exactly what we were doing before. What I was told was to relay and feedback to this lady was she's gone back to doing the same thing. She's operating in the same way. She's saying the same thing. She feels the same. She hasn't shifted at all. Now, when we get ascension symptoms, sometimes we don't really realize what it is that we have to shift, or we think, okay, fine, yeah, I've shifted. You know it here, but you haven't let that go down and have how you operate be different. Now, this is really what the next phase is all about. It's like, how are we operating? Ladies come to me and say, oh, no, I've been trying so hard. I've been doing all this. I've been doing all that. I say, it's not what you're doing that's wrong. It's how you're operating. And this has been it's kind of, when somebody says, oh, for goodness sake, grow up. It's that annoying when somebody hears that. So for goodness sake, I'm 50 years old. I mean, grow up. This wasn't kind of the way I was going to be going with this call today. But when somebody gives you that kind of that energy, that nudge, they're like saying, please, will you just see what you're doing and how you are affecting your own life? Will you please grow up? Will you please operate differently? I got into all of this like years ago. I was um, traveling in South Africa because I'd heard a voice in my head a year before saying, "Do you want to do this in be doing the same thing in 5 years' time?" And I was like, "Hell no, I don't want to be doing the same things in 5 years' time." But that question wasn't necessarily, "Do you want to be doing the same thing in 5 years' time? Do you want to be thinking the same way in 5 years' time? Do you want to be operating the same way in 5 years' time?" I was like, "Oh," but I didn't know how. Anyway, so I was traveling around the world. And I'd got a telephone number of somebody who did Reiki in Prince Albert in South Africa, not far away from where my dad lived in the wilderness in South Africa, traveling with a rucksack. And I thought, I'd like to go and do that because I'd already done my Reiki one. This was a really long time ago, like 20 years ago. And I thought, yeah, God, that'd be really nice. I'd really like to just step out of the world for a while, step to one side. So I had her number and I was constantly ringing, leaving messages, ringing, leaving messages. And I wrote in my journal, sitting on the steps of the youth hostel I was in that night, this woman is impossible to get hold of. And I heard that voice in my head again saying, scratch that out right now. How dare you say that? Write something else. So I wrote down in my journal, this woman is so easy to get hold of. And with that, my phone rang instantly, and it was Valentine getting hold of me to invite me to go and stay with her. Now, this was the beginning of what practical magic was all about. And as I carried on with my travels, I started to do that. I needed a lift down the east coast of Australia, and I just went, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I could get into the car with these guys and we would just have so much fun driving down from Cape York down to Sydney. And the next morning, I just got told, "Hey, Fiona, do you want to come in the car with us? We're going down, da da da, and we're following this car and this car, and we're going like down in a convoy." I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." So this is why I talk a lot about practical magic, because you have the courage to change your thoughts. Now, you might be sitting here thinking, "Okay, how does that affect my business? How does that affect my health? How does that affect my relationships?" Your inner world changes your outer world. The story that's going on in your head will have a massive impact on how you turn up, how things um, work out for you. It's all down to how you're thinking, what you're saying, what you believe to be true. So that's why I'm here. And that's why the dragon cards are here, because your mind can be an amazing tool, can get so many things working out right for you, or it can be a complete and utter wrecking ball. And that's when these ascension symptoms have to come in, um, to keep reminding you, you have to be changing this. You have to be doing things in a different way. Otherwise, you will just be here in the same place in 5 years' time. In 10 years' time, you'll be broke and you'll be like crippled with bad health, and you'll be having, no great relationships because your thoughts are just habitual. And so often, I mean, I've had to go through this myself. I didn't even know what I was saying. I didn't even know what I was thinking. And that's the beauty of having someone in front of you who's going to say, "Did you hear what you just said? Can we change that around?" And then most people say, "All right, yeah, I got it. But what do I say instead?" And that's where I come in. And that's why I do my weekly workshops or workly workshops. So, and I'm also, that was when the dragons first came into me. That's when they first arrived, when they started speaking to me and saying, "Scratch that out, write this instead." Or, "Do you want to still be doing this in 5 years' time?" And the interviews that I had with them, 10 years later, are in this book. And they show you how you are operating and the little things that you can do to start shifting and changing how you're operating. So, and that's what the dragon cards came from as well, from those interviews. Like, what are the incremental steps that we can do to change how we're changing? So, without further ado, let's get into what the dragon cards are for you this week. So if you have not chosen yet, or if you're choosing now, choose a number 1, 2, 3, or 4. So when you are choosing a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, or number 4 to get your message for the week, this is going to help you to make a small shift, an incremental step that will help you to change something this week. Like, oh, I didn't realize I was thinking that. Let's think in a different way. Let's respond in a different way. Let's get my mind in action. If you're going to overthink, then overthink certainly about the stuff that you need to think about. So the messages that come through the cards are basically there on a weekly basis. I do this on a weekly basis. How can I shift? Remember, your inner world creates your outer world. What you think will change the whole environment that you live in. If you keep blaming somebody, telling somebody that they're wrong, guess what? They're going to be wrong. If you keep saying I'm broke, I've got no money, I'm lacking, nothing's happening, guess what? That will happen for you because the world responds to you. So let these cards guide you. So let's go into card number 1. For anybody who wants to hear the message from number 1, don't forget that all 4 cards will have a massive impact on you. They are activations, okay? So let's just see what the message is for you on this week's theme, which is all about the Ascension symptoms are not a punishment. They are a calling for you to make a shift in how you operate. Mahali rumbek ilahayik. Vaya Maya. That was the first one that came out. Perfect. All right, so let's put my old lunettes on and jump into card number 1. Wow. Sarafina is the dragon who first came to me about what these messages were all about. She's the dragon that came to me and said, do you want to be doing this in 5 years' time? She had to get through all my overthinking. She had to get through all of it so that she could deliver this very message. Sarafina, the first dragon I ever met, and the dragon who actually came through to me and said, do you want to be doing this in 5 years' time? And I was like, oh, no, hell no. She came through because she wanted to deliver the way of operating as the new human. And Serafina's message for you, if you chose number 1, is card number 1, which is you don't know how powerful you are, which is the whole point of like why you keep getting these ascension symptoms, why you keep getting tripped up, like I was the other week, sprained my ankle, couldn't walk, or things that go on in your life. These are all just like nudges and pushes and trip ups and soul ascension symptoms to help you see what you are doing and how you could make the shift. So let's just see what she is saying about you don't know how powerful you are as the creator. This is for you to know that you are a conductor of potent, powerful, purposeful energy. It is pure potential for you and those like you on the same trajectory who want to be living as conscious, creative beings. So you know that life is shifting. You know that there's a change going on. This is the opportunity to tap into and become even more awakened and even more conscious. So that's what we're talking about here, isn't it? So if this lady last week who had the cold, she knew she was purging, she knew that it was a message for her. But if I get the message afterwards and feed back to her and say, yeah, but you haven't changed anything. You haven't changed how you're thinking. You haven't changed how you're feeling. So what was the point of going through all that 5 days of the purge, the cold, and not being able to go outside and feeling so shitty if you haven't then made any changes? And this is where the dragons are so, and they wanted me to say this again, they're so up your jumper. They're so up your back because they're just like, just grow up. And it just seems so, okay, I get it. What they're saying here is you stop wasting time. That's it. Stop wasting your time. Get on board and start making the changes that are necessary. Oh, there we go. Grow up. It's like when somebody says to you, just grow up. Don't you get it yet? Like that's what the dragons want to push you towards this week. You are here on earth, connected to the sky and to the earth, connected to a powerful conductor of energy. You conduct and direct life force energy through your core as the conduit of this energy source. Your thoughts, what you think, what you feel, what you believe, what you ask for, what you demand for, is how you manage that conduit and how you stand in that conduit. This power was once hidden and taken from you as you were seen as the source of untamed power, and you were such a powerful being. You are like the trees on your planet. You feel energy and you produce a powerful current of energy, and you can charge your energy and cleanse your energy for and use it for the good. Like the trees, you are rooted in the earth. Their branches reach up to the sky with their trunk as the channel and the conduit of the energy between heaven and earth. You are no different to the trees. You can learn and practice how you direct this power and energetic charge to alter your own current reality and create for yourself your new reality. This power has been hidden from human beings for so long. You once had free access to this natural power, but for certain reasons it was taken away from people and the energy had to be turned down. It was suppressed from you because some people were frightened of the people who had this power, who were creating their own reality, who were demanding change. They seemed too powerful, and yes, some people misused that power. But you have access to this power. And those who are willing to go along with this power and learn to know how again to wield this power, it is available for you, and there is nothing to be frightened of. It is the mind that makes you frightened. It is the people around you that makes you frightened of what you hear and the stories of the world and the community that you live in. If you were able to truly be comfortable in who you are, you would see that you could wield this power, have fun with a light heart, and you can play with it and you can create with it. You are a natural born creator. Your inner world creates your outer world. Thank you very much, Sarafina, for card number 1 this week. We are off to a powerful start this week. Just reminding you that on the 24th of April, I will be reading and you will be activated by this dragon yourself, Sarafina, and how you operate in this world. Right, okay, we are moving on to card number 2. This week, the whole theme is you're not being punished. You're not being punished by, the lack of money or whatever soul intervention has come into your life. You're being asked to grow up. You're being asked to take your life by the horns and get on with it. You have the power. You are able to do so much. And yet, even when you get soul interventions, you're sitting there crying, worrying what on earth is going on. Whereas you have the power if you change your own story. If you want help changing your story, if you want help to find out what it is that you're saying, why things are going the way they're going, why things are going pear-shaped, that's what I'm here for. And that's how you manifest your life, like in Manifest with the Dragons, the course that I run, or a course in practical magic, all of it. Card number 2. Let's get into that now. Card number 2. Maya kambaya aro kumbaya la rambaya. Iya kambaya aro ale kerama. Yeah, there we go. I knew why I was giggling. All right, so really? 48, okay. Let's go here. All right. As I pulled those cards, I knew why I was giggling because the energy that was coming through was just like, oh, fuck that. It was so cheeky. It was just, oh my goodness. So this is Bloom. She is a rebel. She is out there. She's like Lady Gaga or Pink or any of those ladies that you know who stir things up a bit. That's her energy. The message on her card today, if you chose card number 2, freedom. Feel the free flow of life force energy in every cell, movement, and thought. So this week we're very much on what are you thinking? What are you creating by thinking that, by believing that, by keeping on repeating that? Remember the story I was telling you about by someone who's had a cold and she said, I know I'm purging. But when I got the message from the dragons afterwards, like, well, she hasn't changed anything. Like, so, like, she's gone through this whole cold and she's gone back to operating exactly the same way. So let's just hear what Bloom has to say about that. It's interesting, this view you humans have, with all of its variations and manifestations, as something that has the need for solid, reliable foundations, walls, boundaries, and imposed limitations. It seems to need to be able to be constant, reliable to support you. And so your life looks as though it had to become still, serious, static. It looks like you hanging onto the sides of the swimming pool. Well, in real time, life moves, grows, weaves, changes, flows, expands, loops, and flourishes. Oh my God. That's blooming in a nutshell. Let's talk about swimming and dancing with life as a flowing movement. Can you see like where your thoughts might be, where you're pushing yourself to earn more money, go and get a job, stabilize your relationship, put down roots? God, sometimes that just feels like, oh, that's what she's talking about. Like that's what they're feeling from you. Like if that's not what you want, if you want more variety, if you want more adventure, but you're just struggling to make life work for you rather than trusting that life's got your own back, depending on what you're thinking. The world around you is made of life force energy and its pulsing vibration, a frequency, a wave that moves constantly. The flow of life is movement, yet you are still sitting still in meditation at your desk, in your chair, waiting for divine inspiration to save you. The world and all the energy around you, inside you, has become static, still, and stagnant, when the opposite of what is needed right now. The energetic field itself is not static. It is freely moving field. It is energy, so it moves as if static. If it becomes static, it will break down. It will become rotten and it will become brittle. It will snap and crack. So the movement of it is necessary. Oh, this is interesting. So last week I was given an image of like your fascia. It is like the sap in a tree. It flows and it moves around you and it brings energy and it's a conduit. It's part of you which is a conduit within you. And if you snap a branch off a tree and the sap dries, it just becomes like thick, maybe brown rubber. If you look particularly at a kiwi plant, if you take a cutting of a kiwi plant, all this sap starts pouring out. Now, why am I telling you that? Because your energy field is within you. It needs to be well hydrated. That's why I'm doing a cleanse and a detox regularly, because your energy field needs to be hydrated. And sometimes drinking lots of coffee or alcohol or taking medication, it just shuts all the body down. It closes up the pineal gland. I didn't know I was going to go this way. It closes up the pineal gland and it certainly stops your inner vision, your imagination, your freedom is not possible when that is shut down. And that's what she means by when your energy gets static, rotten, brittle, it can snap and crack. So the movement is necessary, not necessarily your physical movement. It can be the movement in your perception, the movement in your shaking it all off. The movement, what I'm being shown here is it's more the movement in your perception, the movement in your thoughts that need to be moving freely. And sometimes isn't that the hardest thing because you've got so used to thinking and operating in a certain way. If it helps to see the energy like jelly or a net, it is light or something like that. It is moving and it has a current running and pulsating through you. And to get this current moving, you are asked to go beyond simple walking or running in a straight line or thinking in a very logical way. It's how can you move and get your perceptions and your thoughts shifting. You're being called to feel the ecstatic life force energy running through you to your very core, running this energy into your mind, into every cell that is flowing in a personal expression as you move in alignment with the pulsations, listening to the pulse and the frequency, which is like an energetic note that has a unique rhythm and hum and tone to the music. I'm just going to say a little bit more before we finish off on this particular card, which just fell on the floor. So your life force energy is the movement through you. It's your movement of thoughts. This week, we're concentrating much more on where do the ascension symptoms come from? Why are they there? So it's what you have been perpetually thinking, and your soul is coming in as an intervention, just going, we cannot live like that anymore. You've got to grow out of that. So when somebody says grow up, they mean grow out of that thought, grow out of that, shift out of that, start putting new thoughts in. If you want to do a workshop, if you want to be knowing what is it that I can think of instead, I will be doing a workshop probably again this week and next week on this very, very, very subject. Right. Bloom decided to fly herself across the room. So she's back now. We are now going to move into card number 3 for this week. The theme being your mind is a wonderful tool or a great big wrecking ball. The stories you tell, the energy that you sit in. If you haven't been listening to what those soul ascensions, those symptoms have brought you, then you really, really, really need to take those on board right now. This is a serious time. You cannot be keeping doing the same thing and getting the same result and then complaining about it. You are your own creator. You are the boss. Okay, let's have that. Let's have you. There we go. Okay, brilliant. Of course. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this week. It's like they're really ramping up. They won't lie down and go to sleep. They are absolutely determined. I'm trying to look at this without my glasses and it's hurting my eyes. All right. Lunar Ray, number 29. Lunar Ray is a very magical dragon in the fact that she wants you to know your own magic. She wants you to start operating with your own magic and understand that you are the boss. You are the creator of your own life. You are the creator, and everything within it comes from you. The world responds to you, how you are being read and how you are feeling. Lunar Ray is very much about your feeling. Living in the new world, you've shifted into the new dimension, the next dimension on this planet. So let's see what she has to say to you today. The process itself, to evolve without perfectionism, is the magic that you have waited for. This shift to being thoroughly satisfied and delighted with your experience here on Earth, and still playing with accessing all the multicolored feelings that open up before you in this sensitive, wondrous, intuitive new world. There is no other planet like it for feelings. You chose to be here at this time to experience just this shift that we're going through, just these ascension symptoms that are going to remind you this is just a shift, it's an illusion. Come back. You are locked up without allowing your feelings to flow, not wanting to feel the feelings, fearful of feeling the feelings and avoiding the feelings. Yet there is a beautiful, magical world out there that operates and creates just from allowing your sensitivities to explore and get to intimately know your own feelings. Many people really don't know what we're feeling. If you grew up in the era that I grew up in, feelings were a sense of weakness. No, we don't feel. We just crack on and do. So, this is the magical part that Lunar Ray wants to explain to you. When we invoke in our feelings, we embed in some feelings, we allow ourselves to feel more of what it is that we want. If you put a vision out there and it was all just affirmations with no feeling, if you put a vision out there and just said, I want this, I want that, I want the other, the energy is flat. When you add feelings in there, it's like rounder, it's fuller, you can feel them in your body. It's like, oh, that's what I want. If I ask most people, what do you want? They go, oh, freedom. But what's freedom? Freedom is the movement. Freedom is the things that you do. How are you going to be operating? What are you going to be doing? Who are you going to be with? What are you going to be wearing? Like, how does it feel to be under that sun? How does it feel to be in that pool? How does it? Those are the feelings that Luna Ray wants to invoke in you. This new world, in a new dimension, it exists already for some and feels compassionate, loving, accepting, understanding the troubles of others, sensitive, joyful, playful, appreciative, exuberant. There is so much more to be enjoyed, and that's why you came to Earth. So many flavors and tastes and temperatures and sensations and adventures to be had. And the feelings and the things and more things and the feelings and deeply wondrous feelings. Maybe right now you have 1% of what's available to you, and that makes us sad. A person who can feel is 100% alive in their body. That they chose to be here in this time, feeling their spirit soar, feeling their spirit and their soul within them, despite what's going on the earth, despite what's going on in the news, despite what's going on in your finances, because you get to create a new version of that by changing your story. That purpose of you coming to embody an earth body on this planet is to feel the feeling, is to create your own reality using your thoughts and feelings. These vibrations and these frequencies are essential. There is no other planet liking for your feelings. You choose to be here right now to feel the feelings, to have the contrast with the lives when you have no feelings. Everything is logical and stale. You have the contrast when you have the feelings that can transform your life, evolving into a human that does have feelings and knows how to use them. This is the way that you operate. You invoke, you call in, you allow yourself to feel the joy of having those feelings and let that land in your body. It's a new way of operating. And if you've been very much in your mind, I certainly came to this world. So 20 years ago, when I was asked, do you want to be doing this in 5 years' time? This has been the whole journey for me. And this is why I'm sharing it with everybody else, because you get to manifest and you get to change the way things turn out because you change the way you feel about them. You change your perspective. You change your thoughts. If I can change the thoughts about blaming my ex or blaming someone else or not having this or doing that, and then I change the story and then I watch them change to match the story that I'm telling, that's magic. That's practical magic. And that's what I'm here to teach. Luna Ray, thank you very much. Okay. Okay. They're very feisty today, aren't they? Very feisty. All right. So we're going to move into card number 4. And I do want to just remind you that on the 24th of April, I will be activating you. I will be interviewing Sarafina again with any questions that you might have, maybe. And maybe you want to know what she said about that already. Interview with a Dragon is a book that I wrote when I had these interviews from one dragon called Sarafina, who then introduced me to the clan of the manifesting dragons. How we navigate this world, how we operate going forwards, what the ascension symptoms are all about, why the soul intervenes, what is going on as we chose to be here on this planet, yet we're stuck. We're still stuck in survival and being sensible and serious and trying to make things work. When you've got oodles of gumption behind you and courage that you could take by changing your story and changing the world around you. That's what this book is going to be all about. That's what the launch of the book is all around about. So come along and meet Serafina and be in that energy and understand, oh, that's the story I'm telling, and that's why things are working out the way they are. Okay, so card number 4 for this week. Let's just pull that. Let's just get that out of the pack. Just see what the message is this week. Again, it's all about your ascension symptoms. It's about how you're living your life. The dragons are saying grow up. And what they mean is keep growing, keep growing. If you keep going back into the same thoughts, Going back into the old patterns. Whoa, that was definitely. Oh, I love it when that happens. All right, so number 3. Okay, Serafina's on charge again this week. She definitely wants to be spoken to. This card just flew across the room, and look at that beautiful green eye, and look at the green eye that has been depicted in Serafina. This is so much about what she wants to be able to share with you from this book, from these cards, how you get to grow up, how you get to really start operating marvelously as the queen that you are when you decide to start putting things in your own hands. So, Serafina. All right, so we have Serafina. She just flew us across the room. Serafina, it's an inside job. And you hold all of the answers within you. Oh God, that used to annoy me so much when I heard that from the spiritual communities. You hold all the answers within you. Oh yeah, but what? How? So this is the path that we're on. And if this is also making you laugh as well, then that is why. Because again, you're brought back to you. And Seraphine is always asking you to come home, come back to you, ask us, ask what's going on, ask us for what you want as well. It's not just like waiting for things to land. It's like, what is it that you want more than anything else? Ask for it. Can you feel that you are discovering and remembering consciously why you are here? You chose to be here, don't forget. Finding again your very own intention is the part when you go on a journey to rediscover who you are at a soul level. It's like going on an adventure, a ride on the inside of you to find out who you are, building a relationship with yourself, to remember what gives you pleasure, what gives you joy, what feelings you like the most, what you value the most. It is the richest adventure. From being the internal tourist to find your deepest intention. It's never just about the material objects you collect along the way that you want to possess and hold and own and put on the shelf. The world is full of these bright, shining objects, which you can be so attracted to as a human. Instead, this is remembering. This is a deep down knowing, a communication from the deep of your intention, of your soul's intention for you, for her to come through this body. As you tap into that sensation, you can enhance and grow in unfathomable ways with your soul intact. Now, I've tried to raise my boys as best I can with their souls intact because this was at the beginning of my journey. And I tried to keep games going and tried to keep their sense of awe. They now both have regular communication with their soul. And if they get stuck, they ask their soul. And this is what I'm doing to my clients. I'm being your mum. I'm being your auntie. I'm reminding you who you are so that you too can have those deep conversations. You know who you are. You remember what you stand for. You have access to the answers straight from source, or from dragons, or from your guides. When you know it, when you feel that this is your life's purpose. It calls you relentlessly. It draws you closer. You feel driven by it because it is your soul's purpose, your soul work, what you came here for, and what you are meant to be doing. It rests on your very life's foundations as your building blocks that allow you to create from truth, purity, and love. And it is always far bigger than you. This is the message from Sarafina this week. We've been talking this week about ascension symptoms. They're not a punishment. They are you being called back to remember who you are. You're also being called back to know that your inner story creates your outer story. So you are the creator. That is what you came here to do, to overcome whatever's going on in your life, situations, ordeals, circumstances, health, wealth, and start taking steps to put all of this into action. Put it all into action. Grow up, grow through, overcome, break through the fact that certain things are there and they're fucking annoying, but you get to get those things out of the way and you get to create your own reality. This is what the message was from Sarafina in the interviews that I did with her. That's what then went on to create the cards. That's what then went on to create Practical Magic, which is the book that is now finally being edited and it'll be out later in the summer. Because you get to see that the soul inventions are the love that your soul has for you as an awakening power. She's waking you up. She's drawing you in. Make the changes. Something funny was coming up for me at the weekend, and I realized that I often say that the journey with the dragons is like AA. You've got a 12-step program. You have to go through certain phases. You have to go through these phases to know that every day, one day at a time, every day at a time, one day at a time, sweet Jesus, we will do one thing. We'll take 1 week at a time. We will take one card at a time, and we will take that in and we will put that in. So the dragons this weekend were showing me that their messages can be taken like AA. You've got a 12-step process to go through, and just one day at a time. One day at a time, I will change that story in my head. That's one of their messages. One day at a time. The phases of leveling up, I will commit, I will be courageous, and I will change the story in my head. If the story in your head needs to be changed, and you don't know what on earth you need to think in terms of creation, whether it's to do with your business, your health, your relationships, I will be doing a workshop, and I will pin the workshop because it's so, so important for you to change your essence, change the way you're thinking, change the story in your head. And sometimes I know I was very chaotic. I didn't really know what to think. I didn't know how to put it out there. I didn't know how to constantly think about it. The dragon said to me, if you're going to be an overthinker, make sure that what you're thinking, that you're overthinking, is something that's going to be putting creation out there for you. And that's why I do the workshops, and that's why I turn up all the time to help you navigate this world, to know that you're brilliant, to know that you're excellent, to know that you are a powerful, powerful creator. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for listening. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm so happy to help you on your journey. The dragons are very feisty this week. They are really asking you, they keep saying to me, like, grow up. And I know if somebody said that to me, I'd kind of go, huh? But yeah, they're asking to grow up. Grow up means grow. Make the changes. Be courageous. Do one thing this week that's going to make a hell of a difference, a hell of an impact on your life. Okay? Have a great day. Have a great week. Let me know what messages you got and how you want to take this further.